I screwed up a game against a 9-year-old. This was round 3 of the Hershey Quads in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and I'm playing Murthvik, a 9-year-old local to Central Pennsylvania, and yeah, this is probably my 5th time playing against him. I've had 2 wins, 1 loss. I think it's only 1 loss and 3 draws. Wait, hold on. Let me fact check this real quick. From last year, but all my all-time stats against Murthvik, I have 2 wins against him. So, anyways. He's good. He plays fast. It's kind of annoying. Feels like he's not trying to find the best move. He's just trying to play fast, which is normal for a game in 40 delay 5. You don't have that much time to calculate. And I played e4 against him a few times. And today I was playing knight f3. I'll change it up. He played knight f6. I fianchetto. He fianchettos. I fianchetto the other way. He fianchettos. I do that. He fianchettos the other way. I fianchetto, he fianchettos, I castle, he castles, and I play c4 and he plays c5. At this point, I'm just annoyed. At this point, I'm just angry. I'm just angry at this point. Like, bro just copied me for the first 7 moves. I play d4, and then he plays d6. Okay, something changed. I was like, is he gonna play d5? I was like, is he gonna play? I mean, like, surely at some point, the symmetry has to stop. Like, but the thing is, if he plays d5, I actually don't know which way I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna take on c5. I'm gonna take on d5. I think I'm gonna take on d5. And then he takes, but then I was like, oh, this isn't good for me. Like, is it good for me? Like, I don't even know anymore. What is happening? Who am I? Like. So I probably want to take on d5. Maybe I take on c5, and then he takes on here, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, legitimately, what is going on? I don't even know. I don't even know what's happening. I don't even know how this game works. Like, what am I doing? Because if you just keep the capture chain going, like, if I take, well, then he can take, and I can't take because it's a pin. So maybe I don't want to take. Maybe I can take. And then if he takes, now he has open file. But then I can take. And if he takes, then I can take. But then he can take. Oh, but then I can take. Oh, now it's different. I felt like I was going clinically insane. Anyways, d6, knight b2. I thought about going e4, but then e6 is annoying, and I can't reinforce the pawn with e4 because the pawn would just be hanging. So that's why I played knight. I prepared playing the move d5. By playing knight b2. If he takes on d4, then his d6 move looks kind of stupid. The whole point of d6 is that if I take on c5, he can keep the pawn structure symmetrical because he wants to draw against me. He is very upfront about it. He's like, I'm really excited to play you. He's giddy, jumping out of his seat by opportunity to draw me. So, anyways, knight b2. Yeah, if he takes, I'm not really concerned. Like, I'll just go here, and if you go e5, like I don't really care. I'll just go here and. Life goes on. Could also go knight e6 as well, attacking his queen. So if you take, I can take. So not really concerned about e5, to be honest. Yeah, the game just goes on. So after knight b2, he copies me again. Just kidding. It's just a good move. He's just developing a piece. And I play queen c2. Reinforcing e4 one more time. Praying d5 potentially. Connecting my rooks more importantly. And he goes rook c8, which I think is a bad move. I play d5. So now, like, what was the point to rook d8 or rook c8? So your rook's not going to be opening on the c file. And he plays b5. So he's like, okay, well, you launch on towards the center, towards the king. Firstly, I want to connect 4. That's the important part. I want to connect 4. And now I'm reinforcing my connect 4. So my connect 4 can maintain alive forever. And then he gets a connect 4 of his own. And then I'm like, oh, I got to undermine his connect 4. No more connect 4 for you. Attacking the knight, attacking the pawn. So now if you move your knight back, I can take, and you no longer have connect 4. So I'm doing quite well here. I'm just kidding. And then so after e5, he takes on e5, and knight takes on e5, and then goes knight e8. And I could take, he could take with the knight and go to f5, or he could play king takes g7. Either way works. I said I'm gonna play rookie 1 first. I'm gonna play rookie 1. So now if you take me, well, now you've helped me double up on the e-file. So I thought it was a pretty straightforward idea. I thought it made a lot of sense. And then he played knight d6. And here, I already start going awry pretty quickly. Here, white has a slight advantage for a couple of reasons. One, the space in the center matters a lot, I think. And I have a clear target on e7. So ideally, I put 2-3 rooks. Well, not there. I put 2-3 rooks on the e-file, put my queen there, get the Alekine's gun, put pressure on the e7 pawn, and try to win it. That's the ideal situation. I don't know if it's enough to win the game, but it's a plan. I can also maybe play a3 at the right moment to try to get my rook active because he moved his rook to c8. That's possible. That's possible. But one thing I should not do is after trading and after going bishop h3, which I think is just a bad idea. Like I had some calculations. I was like, oh man, if I go bishop h3 and like rook c7, then the knight is pinned and like no, that makes no sense at all. Like that was a dumb thought, but it's game in 40, so I don't really blame myself too much. But I was like, what's the purpose of this? Like this, what's the purpose? I mean, this bishop. I mean, it's not bad to be on this diagonal, but like my follow-up is very bad. So I take on g7 and go up here. He goes to rook c7, and then and I'm thinking, I'm like 2 minutes into my turn, 3 minutes into my turn, and it's game in 40. So that matters a lot because I'm trying to come up with a plan. Like, do I go rook e3? Do I go rook e3 to double up on the e-file to attack his pawn? Do I go knight e4? Knight e4, he wants a draw, so he'll probably trade. And the c5 pawn could be a weakness, but it's hard for me to target, so it's not really a weakness. And if he goes e6, trying to take advantage of this pin, then I can go queen e5 check, and then go f6, but I can take. So that's not good. So you can go back, and then I can take, and then I win a pawn. So e6 isn't a good move here. That would be a blunder. So okay, well, so what's his plan? What's my plan? Well, he's probably gonna go rook e8. He's probably gonna go rook e8, double up, protect his pawn. Now, if I try to double up, like what does that entail? If he goes king g8, then I have to go queen e5 to get out of this pin, and then and now what? Now what? Like, what is my plan? Like, let's say he goes a5, for example. I triple up. Like, how am I going to break through? I don't know. Like, I don't know. But the thing is, he doesn't really have that much counterplay, so this might be pretty good. I can also go d6 now. So let's say you just go waste the move with a4. I can go d6 now, and this is actually winning. Actually, this rook looks really misplaced now, and I look like a genius for my bishop h3 stuff because now the rook is trapped here. Then I win a pawn. Maybe not trapped, but yeah, I win a pawn, and what else can you ask for? Like queen c7 maybe, and yeah, I mean, what else can you ask for? Bishop g3, and I mean, takes, and here, and takes, and takes, and takes here, and I'm gonna win this game. So I need to play straightforward chess, but I'm like, oh no, playing straightforward chess, that's horrible. I can't play good moves. I'm so bad, dude. Yeah. Instead of playing freaking normal moves. I'm like, oh no, normal moves. That's the bane of my existence. I can't play normal moves. I'm too crazy for that. I played knight of 3, which is just a mistake. I mean, it's just a bad move. I was 2-3 minutes in my turn though, and Murthvik says, I offer a draw. It's like a draw, and he puts his hand over the board. That's bad etiquette. You aren't supposed to offer a draw on your opponent's turn because you're distracting them. Like, so he was like you're interrupting your opponent's thoughts to offer a draw. The correct etiquette is to make your move, offer the draw, hit the clock. So you're offering a draw on your time. That's the proper way to offer a draw. Anything else is improper, and you shouldn't do it. There aren't really any penalties though, unless you do it a lot. If you offer improper draws a lot, you could have some penalties. But in general, improperly offering a draw once in a tournament is not, you're not going to get a penalty for it. But he offers a draw. I'm in the middle of thinking, and he has his hand over the board and doesn't move it. He's like 20 seconds. His hand is like over the board, waiting for me to accept the draw for that I obviously don't want to do. Like I obviously, like, I'm here. I have more space in the center. I have the e7 pawn as a target. I'm 300 points higher rated. I'm not going to accept the draw. And so he was just doing that to be annoying. And maybe he thought, like, I might accept it. I get if you want to be optimistic. I mean, he's a nice kid, but that made me upset. And he's 1700. Like, he's good. Like, he's good. Like, he's a good player. And at some point, you just need to learn the basic etiquette. Yes, he's 9 years old, which is which is why he doesn't know. So, I mean, I can forgive it, but it's just annoying. And I'm saying this in hindsight because I made a blunder. Like, he interrupts my thought process, puts his hand over the board for 20 seconds, and I have to tell him, not on my turn. Like, I used that phrase. I mean, I don't use a stern voice. I said, not on my turn. No, like, not on my turn. Like, I said it softly. So I played knight f3, which my idea is, like, I want to go to e5 maybe. I want to go to e5, maybe g4, and maybe try to go queen b2 check and control the dark squares. Like, that's an idea. Maybe it belongs on e5. My one idea was that, like, after knight f3, I thought he might go bishop c8 because he wants to draw. Like, legitimately, he wants to draw. So I'm like, oh, maybe he'll go bishop c8. And so now if he takes with the queen, I can go knight e5, queen h3, knight c6, and now my knight on c6 is doing a good job of attacking e7. So maybe I don't want to allow his queen to go to h3. Maybe I can just go king g2 first, and then go knight e5, knight c6. I don't know. But my idea was, like, hey, I actually think my knight, if it's on e5, you can hop on c6 on a moment's notice, because I thought he wanted a draw. I mean, he said it. And he's trying to trade pieces as fast as possible. So I thought he might go bishop c8. And, his bishop is staring at a brick wall. So I thought he might do this. And I was anticipating it. I was anticipating him going bishop c8. So I thought it would be a good idea to go knight e5 and knight c6. But this is just knight f3. It's just a bad move because he plays e6. Which white is only doing good for one reason. For one main reason, and that's that the e7 pawn is a clear target. Like, and black doesn't have that much counterplay. Legitimately, like, black doesn't have that much counterplay at all. And I can just triple up on the e file and apply pressure, and that's that. Like, that's that. Like, that is why. So, for example, he can't play e6 now because I just take. I have 3 attackers on it, and he only has 1 defender. But now, I have the knight f3. Despite him only having 1 defender on the e6 square, he can play e6 because if I take, suddenly, oh yeah, my bishop h3 move, dumb. Very bad move in hindsight because I blundered knight f3. And so now I have to defend. I have to defend my pawn, and now I go from a very solid passed pawn. I mean, this is a pass. Well, it's not a passed pawn, but this is a very solid pawn chain that helps restrict my opponent. It goes from that to suddenly at e6, rook 81, and takes. Now this is a liability. Like, to know one sign of whether or not a passed pawn is good or bad is how well does your opponent control the square in front of it. And right now, he has a knight in front of it on a dark square, and it's going to be very tough for me to try to trade off that knight, to try to push my passed pawn through. It's an isolated passed pawn, and so it's very subject to it. Like, I would love to teleport my knight to e4, and then to trade it off, and then to try to move my rook out of the way and try to push my pawn to d6 and d7 and d8. That would be awesome. But it's just a weakness, and he plays f6, which I thought was not necessary, but just whatever. I put bishop h3, or bishop e6, defending my pawn, so then I can reroute my knight. Because already, I would love to go knight d2, knight c4, but the issue is that, knight d2 would give away the pawn. I mean, here the tactics might work out in my favor. I don't know, to be honest. Like knight c4, but I mean, he could probably just give up his bishop and then go like rook d7, and I think he's doing okay. Oh wait, he can't go rook d7. Yeah, so maybe he still can't take this pawn. I actually didn't calculate that. I didn't calculate whether or not he can take the pawn. Maybe I didn't have to go bishop e6. Maybe I could go knight d2. Yeah, maybe I should have gone knight d2. I actually didn't calculate that he could not take this pawn. I guess I might have gotten a bit lazy with my calculation because I blundered. So I bishop b6 first. Played a5. I played knight t2. I thought he might go c4. And I was really worried about this. Like, genuinely, I was really worried about this because pawn takes, rook takes. Excuse me. Queen b2, and yeah, I mean, this might be okay for me, but I'm definitely not happy. One benefit though, like I was ready for a fight though. I was ready, like, okay, we're gonna fight to the death here, because like, yeah, he has a 2-on-1 on the queen side, but my knight, by pushing his c5 pawn, now my knight can hop into d4, and maybe I can go to e6 eventually. And so I was hoping he'd kind of push and extend, but he didn't. He didn't push c4. So I went. He went a5. I went knight d2. He went bishop a6, and I went knight c4. And so, because I was worried once again, if I went like bishop h3 or something like that, I was worried just like c4, and I was like, oh man, this is uncomfortable. He can take and take, and I wasn't super happy with this, to be honest. He's setting up a discovered attack on my queen. I wasn't super happy. He's also attacking the pawn on d4, and if I take, and queen b3. I mean, queen d7. Not queen d7. That's bishop's guarding that square. But maybe this isn't so bad for me. Maybe this isn't so bad. Maybe I should not have been afraid of c4. Mirthvik told me after the game that he thought knight c4 was a mistake because my knight is way better than his bishop, and after this trade, I'm passive, which I agree with, and he has a good knight versus my bad bishop. Well, my bishop's not bad, but my weaknesses are. So yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with him that I probably shouldn't have played knight c4. I think that was a mistake. And then, so I played, so after the trade, he went rook e7. I went back because now I want my bishop on f1 to guard my weakness. And so he trades, goes rook e8, and I go rook d1. So it might seem a bit weird to not trade rooks there, to give up the open file so easily. But honestly, the alternatives aren't very good. If I go queen d2 to contest the open file, well, knight takes c4, and that's not good. If I trade and then go bishop f1, well, now he goes queen e1. It was queen e1, and suddenly this isn't so hot for me. I could try to go queen a4, try to get counterplay, but now there's suddenly queen, and now there's knight e4, attacking the pawn, attacking f2. I can give a check, but then there's there's king h6. I actually did not calculate queen e7 and queen h3. I actually thought I would be losing, but it looks like I might not be losing actually. This might actually be okay. I thought I was, but apparently I'm not. Because if he goes back, then I just keep giving checks. So that means if he ever goes up, I have to make sure my queen's on the right square. I have this check. So I move this check with this check, and then this will just be checkmate. So I had to be careful. So maybe this is okay, actually. He might also go queen e4, which is more annoying in my opinion. Because if he takes and takes, now this is just he's going to make a pass pawn, and my pass pawn on d6 is well blockaded. So I'm just going to lose this game very quickly. Because, for example, takes. Let's just say bishop d3. Knight c3, attacking the pawn, and I'm already lost. The game's already over. d6, king of 7, d7, king e7, and it's over. I mean, he stopped the pawn. He's about to win this pawn, and he's gonna promote a pawn to a queen. So I mean, queen e4 is probably more annoying than queen e1 then. And if I ignore it, then he can probably take. And if I give a check, this could be a draw, but I don't think so, because this is super annoying, actually. Give another check. King G7. Yeah, maybe this is okay for me, because now my queen gets in time, and I'm not losing, I don't think. Gets a little bit dicey slicey. 92 looks like I'm really close to losing this game. I might actually be losing here, because if I take this pawn, for example, there's check, and I don't even know. I mean, it's at best a draw, because he can go check here, or check here, and if this bishop didn't guard that square, then knight h3 would be checkmate. But this actually might be okay for me. I thought this was going to be losing, but it's at worst a draw, which is interesting. Okay, so there's different ways to go about it. I was too scared. I thought the simplest way was just go rook d1. I thought like this was the easiest path to Rome, and it actually sets up some traps where, like, you know, if he wins this pawn, then I can go d6 in a lot of cases, and we have to really worry about it. Like, I'm prepared to push my passed pawn if this knight stops blockading. He goes rook e4, attacking my pawn on c4. I defend. He goes queen c8. With ideas to go queen g4 or queen h3. Well, not now, but getting the queen into my king side and potentially attacking me. Also, an idea to go queen a6. So if I just like waste the move, queen a6, putting more pressure on the c4 pawn is an idea as well. So, yeah, those are all ideas. By the way, queen a4, he plays queen c7, and I'm super proud of my I'm super proud of my idea. So my idea, like, okay, queen a4. Firstly, if he goes, you know, over here, then of course I have checks, and I might be able to win this game. Probably not. For example, king h6. Oh wait, I'm stupid. Oh my god, my queen guards that square. Queen c6 here. Oh, that doesn't work. Queen g4 is super annoying, actually. I guess I could go rook. Rook c1. Let's go rook c1. So now if knight takes, I can take, and give a check, and a king h6. Give a check again, and maybe this is a draw. Maybe this is winning as well. It's hard to say. Probably a draw. I mean, check here. You can also take here as well. But now I feel like this should be a winning endgame for me. Probably. Queen b7 is an interesting move, because now if like checks here, there are no more checks. Queen d1 maybe. d7. So now I'm one move away from promoting, but then he can start promoting. And queen c8. And maybe this is just a draw at the end of the day. This might just be a draw. So maybe it's not so bad. But I was super happy with the move queen a4, because the idea was if queen c7, I go queen c6. Super happy with this idea. If he takes my queen, I mean, I just win the game. This passed pawn on c6 is too hard to stop, and he has to defend his rook. If he defends his rook, then I can go bishop h3 perhaps, and if he goes f5, I can go c7, and with the idea that let's say he goes king f7, I can just sack and promote. So pretty straightforward idea. I don't have to include bishop h3. I can just go c6 immediately, or c7 immediately, and I just win. So he goes back to defend his rook, and for a while I was calculating rook e1. I really wanted to make rook e1 work, but I couldn't. He could take my queen, and then I could take his rook. So the idea is that, like, he can't. The idea is he can't take my rook because queen takes c7. So he could take my queen. I could take his rook. He goes king f8. I can take his pawn. He can take my rook, and then his king and knight can both stop the pawn on c8. If I go bishop h3, he can go king d8 to go king c7, and then now I'm toast from here. What else do I do? If I try to bring my king in, a4, king e2, b3, takes, king here. Oh wait, whoopsies. After b3, if I take, he can push. So now king here, and now the king cannot stop the pawn. So it's actually a really instructive pawn endgame, or well, endgame in general, where this bishop can't really do anything. My pawns block my own bishop's vision on that side of the board, and if I take here, now the king is in the square, and the king can stop the pawn. But if he sacrifices the pawn to get his a pawn passed, then my king is not there in time. So my idea was I really wanted to go rook e1, but it didn't work. It didn't work at all, which is an issue when I want to do moves that are good. I want to make moves that work. This move did not work. And so I went bishop h3. So once again, please take my queen, because then wherever you move your knight, now I'm going to go rook e8, and maybe bishop d7. I'm doing quite well here. Maybe I go bishop d7 or something like that. If a4, I do have to worry about this passed pawn. I have to be very, very careful, actually. Like maybe bishop d7 to start, and actually, you know what? Maybe just like rook c5 to start. So now if a4, I can take, b3, I can take, and I'm in time to stop the pawn from promoting. So probably something like that makes a lot of sense for me. Anyways, I go bishop h3. He goes f5. He offers a draw. I accept it. So he was telling me after the game, like, oh, you could have traded queens and play rook e1 and you're better there. And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm losing. This endgame is losing. If I try to get active, I lose. For example, king f7, rook e6, trying to get active, just sacrifice the knight. Takes, rook b7. Like, you don't have to sacrifice your knight, but like, just to illustrate it, like, this endgame is very dangerous for white because of the passed pawn. Like rook c6 here. I mean, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do? b3, and like, what am I doing? And I promote after I trade rooks. Like, so I don't know what he was trying to say, but I'm glad he offered the draw, because this position is miserable for me. This was my only idea in the position. I mean, if he didn't offer the draw, the game goes on, but I have to figure out how I want the game to go on. I might have gone bishop f1. Oh, a small note as well is that, like, please take my pawn on c4 so that I can take and go d6. Please take my pawn as well on c4. I would love to sacrifice a pawn to win the game like this. This would be freaking awesome. So please take my free pawn on c4, but he didn't do that. So if he played f5, if he didn't offer draw, I would have gone back to f1. And if he ever moves his king anywhere, like, so firstly, his king is kind of stuck, his rook is kind of stuck. So let's say, like, yeah, and what are you going to do if you don't want to take my queen? What are you going to do? If he goes king f6 or something like that, I might consider queen a8. Trying to infiltrate and get into the position maybe a little bit. I mean, I don't think it's winning at all. I mean, he probably just goes forward, like, going forward, but I mean, all that stuff is kind of crazy and outlandish, but it might be good. Like, maybe you can go king h6 at this point. And if queen a8, I'm looking for some checks. You can go, king h5. I don't know. Not super clear what black wants to do other than push their pawn. So, like, queen a7, check, king h3, Then there's this check though, which is annoying for him. And then there's this is checkmate. So I actually have to be careful. So I mean, if maybe you don't have to play like that. Maybe like you could just go. I thought he might go 94. No, 94 runs the same problems. Like maybe like queen d7. Queen d7 is interesting. So I think the fact that he always has passed pawns make it very difficult for me to trade, which is an issue for me. Trade queens, I mean. So I'm not really sure what I would have done. I mean, queen a8, then queen a7, queen d8, rook d7, and suddenly the queen has to evacuate. Now a4 and b3. So this is one potential way black can try to play for a win. But it just offers me a draw and I accept. So all's well ends well. All's well ends well. So with that being said, I'm going to end it there and I'll hit the game review and I'll see you guys next one. Peace.